You're listening to Thursday Night Tailgate, where NFL legends live on, with Chris Mascaro and Bob Lasseri. Available on TuneIn and Podbean. Now, back to Chris and Bob.
Just listen.
All right, now back with us on the Kyvan Foods guest line is TNT Hall of Famer, Louisiana Sports Hall of Famer, State of Missouri Sports Hall of Famer, and former Rams, Saints, Bears, Broncos, and Chiefs wide receiver Eddie Kennison. And Eddie first joined us back on episode number 6, folks, October 27, 2011, probably wondering who these two guys were asking him to come on a show that he had never heard of. And here we are tonight, right? Episode 300, and this is Eddie's 9th appearance with us, which is an absolutely incredible blessing. On top of being, both a great player in college and in the NFL, Eddie also does great work raising money for lupus research with his foundation. He's also gotten into the wine business with his company Barrel 87. You can find a link to Barrel 87 on our website, ThursdayNightTailgate.com. You can find it online at Eddie's site at Barrel87.com. We can't thank Eddie enough for his friendship over the years and for being a great member of our Hall of Fame, and we're glad he is back with us again tonight on Thursday Night Tailgate. Hey, Eddie, Chris, and Bob, thanks for coming back on the show.
Hey, Eddie.
Oh, Chris and Bob, I really, really appreciate that very, very nice introduction, brother. I keep coming back because you guys do an absolutely fantastic job with representing the sports world and representing yourselves very well on radio. It's always pleasant to hear positive things about what's going on in our country, and it comes from you guys' radio station, and it's always a pleasure to be on and more of a pleasure to listen to you guys. So thanks for having me back on again.
Oh, we appreciate that very much, Eddie. Thank you. So, Eddie, last year we inducted you into, our Hall of Fame, our guest Hall of Fame, and just, back in June, the state of Louisiana jumped on board and inducted you into their Sports Hall of Fame. So talk about, the honor, what that was like to be recognized at that level by, your home state.
Well, I'll tell you what, it was very emotional. And, it was just one of those deals where, when they call and say, hey, the Louisiana sports writers have elected you in, and, you kind of get this idea in your head of what this event would potentially look like. So I had an idea in my head, what this event would look like. And let me tell you, when everything unfolded, the few days that we were in Natchitoches, Louisiana, it far exceeded my expectations. My little thought process didn't do it any justice. Louisiana, they did an absolute fabulous job with putting that event on. And I know I had about 75 to 80 of my family and friends in Natchitoches, brother. And I think, every time we have a phone conversation, friends and family, we talk about Natchitoches, Louisiana, because it's so fresh. And I can't be more proud of what the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame have done to represent Louisiana athletes, coaches, mentors, just everybody. And it was absolutely fantastic.
And Eddie, Ed Reed was also a part of, your Hall of Fame class there, as were a couple other big names from guys, from the golf world and baseball, and David Toms and Juan Pierre. Did you get to spend any time talking with those guys?
Oh, absolutely. We had a lot of great conversations, be it lunch or dinner or just walking around in downtown Natchitoches, and just the events they had for us every evening. It was absolutely fantastic. So you guys will hear my 4-year-old there outside playing basketball. That's all right, buddy. He was saying his big brother blocked his shot on the basketball goal. So he came over and gave me a hug. How wonderful is that? But I got to spend a lot of time with David, with Ed, with Dee Dee Bro, who's 41 years in coaching at LSU women's gymnastics. So I got a chance to spend a lot of good quality time and get to know those guys, and it was fantastic. And we've actually had conversations since then, just on the phone or via text. And so I think friendships were definitely gained during that process, and that friendships I think will last for the rest of our lives.
And Eddie, Ed Reed came into the league several years after you, but you guys played against each other a couple of times. I'm curious, what do you remember about going up against Ed Reed and the Ravens?
You calling me old?
Not at all.
Oh boy, let me tell you. Yes, Ed Reed. I did get an opportunity to play against Ed, and obviously, you guys know just as well as I do. He's in the top 3 safeties of all times in NFL history, and he was a freak of nature. Roaming, the defense and heading up that defense, him and Ray Lewis. Ed will go down in history as, when safeties come into the league, if coaches don't show Ed Reed film, they're doing the league a disservice. So, he was absolute phenomenal talent, and getting to know him, at the Louisiana Sports Hall of Fame, I say he's even a better person. And, I can't wait to he and I get together again and spend some more time, because he has a beautiful soul, man. He has a beautiful mind. Ed is one of the guys that'll give you the shirt off his back. And, right now he's giving back to, his community, in Louisiana, and he's doing some things across the country, community-wise or countrywide, and doing some fabulous things with his foundation. So I couldn't be more proud of him, but even more glad to get to know him the few days we had in Natchitoches.
5 questions for Eddie.
Hey, Eddie, thanks for joining us on this special occasion. You've been very gracious to join us both on the radio and the TV side. We love you. We love your family, and it's guys like yourself that keep the show going. So thank you in advance. And, Eddie, I look back on your high school career, speaking of Louisiana, at Washington Marion High School, and there's been a few people to play in the league, and probably most notable outside yourself was Vincent Brisby, who was a pretty good name up here in New England for a few years. I was just wondering if your paths crossed over the years, and do you have a pretty strong network of alumni down there?
Well, I can't say that our alumni is very strong, because we had only a few guys out of my high school to go into the league, and Vincent was the very first guy from our high school to make it to the National Football League. And Vincent and I were still friends to this day. He's the one that actually that kind of showed me a few ropes when I was getting ready to come out of high school, and while I was in college at LSU. And he was kind of my mentor getting ready for the league. So. He was, and the alumni, Washington Marion alumni, just the student body is very strong. But we only have a handful of guys that came out of my high school into the National Football League.
And Eddie, I think we've talked about it before. When you came in the league, you were kind of an all-purpose kind of guy, can run back kicks, catch the ball incredibly. And what I always was impressed back in the day was your returning ability and that mindset that went into it, Eddie. And the first thing I thought about today was, did you ever come across a punt returner who didn't think they shouldn't take it all the way to the house?
Well, if they did, they probably were not a punt returner or a kick returner.
True.
Every guy that I know, it was the mentality that when the ball is in my hand, we take it to the house. And, that's just that's the mentality you have to have with the game. You can even, think about running backs whenever the ball is handed to them. If they're not thinking about taking it to the house every game, you don't need to be playing that position. So far as receivers, yards after the catch, getting to, so it's all that mentality, of making it to the end zone. So, if you don't have that mentality, you probably shouldn't play the position, let alone play the game.
And Eddie, I want to get your thoughts on your alma mater, LSU. Ed Orgeron took over last season after Les Miles was let go 4 games into that season. He led him to a 6-2 record, the rest of the way. Kind of looking ahead to this season, LSU is going to have to face Florida, Ole Miss, Alabama, Tennessee, all on the road. How do you feel about where the program and the team is at and their chances this year in the SEC West?
Well, one thing we know for sure, even when Les was head coach, Coach O, he was, the front runner for recruits, getting recruits to come in. So, we have to believe that, just because he became a head coach, his recruiting efforts probably heightened even more. And the few guys that were probably on the bubble about going to LSU, they stepped up big time and said, yes, I'm committing because Coach O got the head coaching job. So, I think with them going, playing on the road or whoever's coming in, I think Coach O is one of those guys that the guys want to play for. He's a player's coach. And, you just look at, some of the posts that the guys are going in with him. And so when, I think the guys will even go above and beyond to play for him just because of, the way he is as a coach. He's a player's coach. You see him on different posts, he got his shirt off, he's messing with the guys. And those are the guys, that's the coach that guys will say, you know what, our coach is super cool. He understands who we are. He gets who we are. And, they're going to do everything they can to go play for him.
And Eddie, let's talk a little bit about the NFL and the Chiefs. And your boys are coming off a 12-4 season last year, but they seem to struggle in the postseason. You're curious to get your thoughts on Alex Smith and the quarterback situation, and have the Chiefs gone as far as Alex is going to be able to take them?
I don't believe so. Alex, I think we may have talked about this before, but Alex can't play defense. Alex, he put the ball in the end zone, helped the ball get into the end zone as an offensive quarterback, scored enough points to be able to win a game. And, we're one play away from tying the game and going into overtime, to go to the AFC Championship game. He can't do both. And Alex is a darn good quarterback, and I believe Alex is a guy that can take the Chiefs to the Super Bowl and win it. You look at, anybody can look at the stats for Alex. They can say, he don't throw the ball downfield. He throws the ball down. It's needed. The game isn't about throwing the ball down the field. The game is about winning. And Alex, Andy Reid, those guys have done nothing but win football games. And as much as we want to win, the Super Bowl every year, is just highly unlikely. You got one team that has pretty much dominated the last 10 years. So, but they haven't won it every year. Yeah, so I think Alex is a big talent, brother, and I do believe that Alex is a guy that can lead the Chiefs to the Super Bowl and help the team win the Super Bowl. And, there are a lot of variables that come into play as a team. Alex doesn't play special teams. Alex doesn't play defense. Alex is the leader, of the team, and everyone has to rally. Everything has to come together, on game day for this team to be able to win the big game. Alex, people say he's a game manager. Well, that's what you're supposed to be. You're supposed to manage a game so you could win. And getting, that one play away from the AFC Championship game, one play away from going into overtime to potentially go to the AFC Championship game, that's how close we are. And every year that Andy Reid has been here, every year that Alex has gotten here, that has been a quarterback here, we've gotten better every single year. So, I do believe that Alex is the guy to lead this team to a championship and ultimately into the Super Bowl. So, yes, I believe in Alex. Alex can win.
And Eddie, the AFC West is going to look crazy here, very soon, because we have the LA Chargers now, and we'll soon have the Las Vegas Raiders. Right. As a guy who played, for so long in the AFC West, how crazy is that going to look?
Oh man, I tell you what, Vegas will get a whole new crowd of people because everybody will want to go to Vegas from every team, and I think with with the LA Chargers, I think, a lot more people will want to go out to LA because they've always wanted to visit. Now they have an excuse to go. So, the first few years will be very interesting because they're going to get an influx of everybody from every team going in. And, I think the announcers, myself, you guys going to have to get used to saying, Los Angeles Raiders and the Las Vegas Raiders and the Los Angeles Chargers. That does sound weird, but we're going to have to get used to it, and it's going to be a fun ride, brother. It will be a fun ride.
Bob, a couple more for Eddie before we let him go?
Sure, Eddie. Looking back on your career, you had so many great years. I think 7 seasons where you had 800 yards or more receiving, and of course the best 2, the 1,000-yard seasons came in Kansas City, 04-05 with Trent Green throwing you the football. Eddie, talk more about the kind of ball he threw and what made you guys click.
Well, Trent was he put the ball in the breadbasket, bro. I mean, he was just, you could have blindfolded Trent and he could have thrown to a spot. We had a deal, where we made, a deal where be where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there. And the way our offense was ran was based on timing, speed and timing. And, and we worked on it, during the offseason. We worked on it during OTAs. And, we were just there. And, we made sure that we didn't get off the field, whether it's practice or whatever the case may be, until we had things down where we were comfortable with each other, just that chemistry and saying, okay, I get it. Okay, this is where I'm supposed to be. Okay, this is how he's going to throw the ball. Okay, Eddie, I know this is how you run your route. So, it was just that constant trying to perfect getting to know each other. And, Trent he was a perfectionist. And if you guys ever watch him on television, I mean, he's still that way to this day. So we constantly worked on it, brother. And, we're constantly still working on our friendship, man. We still have dinner every so often and call and text and all of that fun stuff. So it's been fantastic. I just saw him Tuesday. I went up to St. Joe to Chiefs training camp, and he was there as well because he had production meetings with the crew. So we got some time to spend up there as well. But yeah, he was super fantastic as a quarterback.
And Eddie, finally, for a guy that played 13 years in the league, your body took a beating, but I know that you're the kind of guy, you get out of football, you were a sprinter, you did a lot of things before you got to football, but it's not like a lot of people think that these NFL players just give their bodies a rest for the rest of their lives and do nothing. Dispel that myth, Mr. K.
Well, I'll start off by saying this. Yes, I played 13 years, and yes, my body still hurts to this day. And but what I won't do, I think my body would hurt even worse if I did not exercise. So I still get out and and I walk, and I still go in my basement and try to do yoga just to keep things stretched out, keep it moving. And I tell you else what helps is my 4-year-old. He keeps me on the move as well.
Oh, yeah.
And so, and I think a lot of guys, they're told, get out, exercise, get out, do all of these fun things. Find it, the trust is doing a lot of great things where they're partnering with various gyms across the country for guys to be able to go in and do workouts. And, all of those things are super great. To get out and keep moving. And, it's not just for NFL guys. Everyone needs to get out and do some form of exercise because it's only healthy for you. And, when I retired at 35 years old, I'm thinking I have at least 55 more years, 60 years to live. If I just sit around and do nothing, brother, I would be miserable.
Eddie, you have a wonderful foundation, the Quick Start Eddie Kennison Foundation, that raises money for lupus research. I saw out on social media that they're going to be roasting you later this month at Arrowhead Stadium, raising money for lupus research. Do you got your bulletproof personality vest ready for that event?
Hey, yes, I do, brother. And I have some pretty tough skin, and when I agreed to do it, I know it'd be a lot of fun moments. I'm sure there's going to be some emotional moments because obviously the guys that are going to be roasting are guys that I spent either time in the locker room or my entire life with. So it's going to be a little bit of both, brother. And I'm actually looking forward to it to see some of the things that are brought up, some stories that I'm sure I will remember. I'm sure there's going to be some I won't remember, but it will be. I'm so looking forward to it. But the most important part of the evening is, raising awareness for lupus research and raising some dollars for lupus research. But I think it'd be a great evening. It's Tuesday, August 29th, out at Arrowhead Stadium, and we got a pretty fun lineup that's coming in and that's going to speak. So it's going to be fun, brother. I can't wait for it.
And Eddie, like I mentioned in your intro, you also have a wine business. Talk about Barrel 87.
So, if Barrel 87 is a virtual online wine club, wine, beer, and spirits. And once a month, I hand pick and select, all of the wines, the beers, and the spirits, from anywhere in the world. And my wine club members get access to these various wines, beers, and spirits that I select, and I deliver it right to their doorstep, or I ship it right to their home business. And we get an opportunity, during the course of the weeks where my club members, they call me and they say, I want to do a home tasting. So I go to their home and I do a home tasting for, my club members and 10 or 15 of their friends, and just make it more intimate. And it's a beautiful thing that I've seen, because I get to go visit, people in their homes, our club members, and get to know them personally and get to hear their story and get to learn about their family. And, and Barrel 87 was created out of love to be able to get to know who people are and be able to touch them and be close to them and hear their stories about football, and then teach them about wine, and then we're tasting and drinking wine. And that's what Barrel 87 is all about, brother. It's about love. It's about coming together and creating stories and memories.
Well, I signed up and I'm a member, and I certainly highly encourage all of our listeners to go out and check it out, barrel87.com, and I might take you up on that wine tasting or that spirit tasting the next time you're in Atlanta, my friend. So hopefully we get the opportunity to catch up with you.
Your shipment is getting ready to go out tomorrow, so you should see it by Tuesday next week.
All right. Looking forward to it. Thank you. Thank you, Eddie. So, Eddie, let all our listeners know, remind them, how can they, stay up to date with all the great things you're doing, both, online and over social media as well?
Yeah, so I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. My Instagram is Eddie III. My Twitter is Kennison III. I think that's what it is. And they can find me on Facebook, Eddie Kennison. And I'm on Instagram with Barrel87 at Barrel87 _ wines. And they can check us out, see the things that we're doing, and they can comment and have all of their good fun on social media.
Brother, it is always an amazing joy to have you as part of the show. We can't thank you enough, Eddie, for your kindness and your generosity over the nearly 6 years that you've been joining us. We hope you'll come back, real soon, share more of your stories, talk about the roast that they got cooking for you, and come back, share your thoughts on LSU and the Chiefs and what's going on around the league. You're fantastic.
Oh, thank you, guys, and I can tell you this: as long as you guys are on the radio and whenever you want me on, I will be on, brother, so no worries.
Thank you, Eddie. All the best to you and your family, my friend. We look forward to catching up soon. I look forward to the shipment and catching up with you about that as well. Thank you so much for your time.
You're
welcome.
Eddie.
Thank you, guys. Bye-bye.
Good night.
All right, take care. That is former LSU and Rams, Chiefs, and a couple other teams that Eddie also played for as well. But Eddie Kennison, a finer individual, Bob. Folks will not find anywhere on the planet. Eddie is such a joy to be around, and his positivity and his generosity and willingness to come and share stories with us and all the great things he's doing for lupus research and other things as well. Boy, it's just been a tremendous blessing to be able to say that Eddie's been on the show 9 times now and has been with us practically from the very beginning.
I love that man, Chris, and you're right. As good as he comes across on the radio, you and I have had a chance to deal with him behind the scenes, and he's accommodating. He's a gentleman. He's a great parent. He does everything so well, and is just such a quote unquote nice man. And again, that's why he's one of our Hall of Famers, and we can't wait to speak to him. Anytime he wants to come on, he's got a carte blanche, right?
Yes, he does, indeed. All right, we've got our next guest, Mark Carrier, hanging on the line. We'll get to Mark on the other side of this station break.